What's good everybody, Jeff here. Friends, this is going to be an update video, because a couple of months ago I have announced I was working on launching my own matchmaking system. Not to brag, but I went from doing videos in my bedroom to basically running a company. From the same bedroom, that hasn't changed. I've been talking a lot about ECL lately, and the reason for that is I have spent a tremendous amount of hours to make it work. Plus, honestly, it has some great selling points. Are you subscribing to anyone on Twitch? Well, what do you get from that? Emotes, recognition, but mostly, you know that you support the streamer you like. Well, with ECL, not only do you support the content creator for the same price, but you also have access to a matchmaking system with anti-cheat, admin, control environment, friendly guys, seasons and prizes. This is why I've told all my Twitch subscribers to stop subbing to me and subscribe to ECL instead, and of course my sub count has plummeted to like 70 subs. When the CSGO devs announced they didn't have any plans to improve the current matchmaking system, instead of whining and crying and complaining and blah blah blah, I have decided to try something, and that is how ECL was born. The goal of ECL is to have that one place, that one environment in which you can play some decent CS with teammates that are filtered. What I promise with ECL is a better environment with mandatory anti-cheat. I can't possibly promise you that 100% of your games are going to be toxic free. In fact, anyone could join, and I have no way to prevent them without even knowing how they will behave. What I promise instead is that if you encounter a guy who ruined your games, then you can report him with the website we have built for, and he will be sanctioned. As of right now, the number is ridiculous to say, but we have banned over 30% of the player base. This is how much we filter. We've also recruited some more admins and mods, and as we speak, our current response time for handling a report is less than 24 hours. So big kudos to the admin team. And as always, I am straight up honest with you guys. I did not do any gambling promotion even though I got offered a shit ton of money. I did not do any shady sponsorships, and I don't promote something I don't use or I don't like. The reason I push ECL this much is just because I want it to work, and not because of the money. It's because I see some great potential to gather the community around ECL and to have that one place we don't have anywhere else when you can play some great CS without having to worry about having some toxic teammates. It's also a very cool thing to see that I can meet every time I play on ECL a subscriber of mine, or of Tweeday, or of Trilux, or Banana Gaming. I propose we jump back in time and talk a bit about the first season. We went live 2 months ago, and I was extremely stressed. I had a gigantic amount of work to do, and we went hard on the promotion. I really didn't know how many people to expect, but I knew for sure that I was already overwhelmed. You see, even though we use Facet's interface, there's a lot of work to do on the side. How do you organize the moderation team? What orders do they have? What questions are going to be asked many times? How do we prepare answers? What sanctions should we apply for such behaviors? How do we organize the divisions? What levels do we allow? What problems is it gonna get? And then the sponsors, because I also was under an enormous amount of pressure. We have signed AORUS 5 hours before launch, okay? So like, in 5 hours, I had to define what prices goes where, how much do we have, how do we send the prices, update all the graphic stuff, make sure we don't fuck something up, because once you announce the prices, you can't just take them back. And then you have to create thumbnails for the leaderboards and upload them on the website, and I still had to make a video before going live, because we wanted to stream the live event. And the 2 weeks prior to that were not any better, probably the busiest I have ever been. So busy in fact that it has impacted my personal life. I was so busy I had no time to see my girlfriend. Waking up at 9, work until 1 or 2 AM, I was absolutely tired. No breaks, as I eat in front of the PC as well. Those days were hectic. And of course, I had no time to make videos, which has added a lot of pressure as well. There's one rule on YouTube: when you don't upload, that never ends well, and the views I'm getting lately is kind of confirming this, which is very worrying as it gradually goes down and down. Anyway, we go live, I start streaming, and the queue for the first game was very scary as well. Since I was live, if we couldn't find a game, it would mean that not even 10 people would be subscribed, thus it's a fail. But hey, we got a game of course, and so ECL has started. After my stream, I checked with the admin team to see if the workload was correct, and spoiler alert, it was not at all, so we had to hire more admins ASAP. People would call admin left, right and center for pretty much no reasons. Some would even click on the call admin button to see what it does, and this is why we had to develop our reporting tool. So we've noticed a problem, we went around it, and we fixed it. When we launched, we had 5 divisions balanced this way, and the first problem popped within days. the prizes. The prizes are set per division and ELO is enabled. When ranking up, you reach the next division, and in the process, your progress in the leaderboard of your old division becomes obsolete in regards of the prizes, unless you rank down again. So of course, we've had some smartass who tried to trick the system and threw some games to stay in the same division and try to win something. Well, guess what? We've banned them all, of course. Also about division lock, many people have asked us why do you not block to your division until the season ends? Well, because then you will have some people that are smurfing that will be stuck in the lower divisions, and it doesn't make sense either. And since the focus of ECL isn't on the prizes, we don't really mind you not having them. The goal is to have a great games to play. The prizes are kind of an option. It also seems like during season 1 we've had a big wave of players coming to ECL without knowing about us. The only thing they had seen was 15,000 euros of cash prize, and the only thing they were playing for was the prizes. And that of course leads to problem because, well, I'm very sorry to say, but some, and I do say some, of those people are a fucking pain in the ass. They are always whiny, crying, annoying as fuck, trying to get the games cancelled at all costs because they want to save some ELO. They would spam in the chats that admin don't do shit, that ECL is shit, blah blah blah, that everybody but them of course is brain dead, blah 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 blah, and those are the same people who will end up insulting their teammates because they didn't play the way they thought they should have played. And that's the one thing that has the potential of pissing me the fuck off. Like, I work my ass off and so do the admins and mod, and we don't put this much time into ECL to babysit some snowflakes, and this is why we've also banned so many of them. Now I know my speech isn't professional or corporate. Of course, business-wise it will be smarter to be kind to everybody and to try to always stay positive, never mention failures and always highlights the bright spot, because after all, whether they are annoying or not, they are customers, aren't they? Well, no, that is not how I want things to work, and fuck that. ECL isn't just a random company trying to get some money. If you're annoying, just get the fuck out, because I don't care about your money. You being an asshole is making me lose 10 other friendly players that you have played against or with, and I'd rather have 10 times less users but without problems. If you come to ECL only for the prizes, then you have missed the point of ECL. And this is where I fucked up: communication and the prizes. I don't really have experience in that field, and all I know is I'm always trying to do things fair. From my perspective 2 months ago, the higher the prizes, the better. Because, well, why not? Giving away plenty of stuff is awesome and the community gets it back. That's pretty cool. But it has led to this. I will use a big word, but it kind of makes sense: a conflict in the product. You advertise a friendly environment, but you put the highest prizes you can find out there, leading to a conflict. Some users come for the prizes, some users come for the friendliness, and I'm not saying that one is right and not the other. I'm just saying that putting them both in the same pool leads to conflict. As I've said, we learn every day with ECL. During the first season, we've also improved our moderation work. We have developed a website where you can report a player. If something happens and you want us to know about it but doesn't require a sanction, go for the minors. Like example, you cannot ask us to ban someone if all he did was force buying. But if you submit a minor at the end of the game, and then at the end of the week we notice that the same guy has 10 minor reports from different matches but for the same issue, then we can clearly see it as a problem and assign a sanction. And if a user did impact your game in a said disruptive way, such as heavy insults, grief, team kills, then you can submit a major report. It will take you from maybe 2 to 3 minutes to fill in, but we need the details. If you only send us a report who says, "Oh my god, he toxic, watch demo," like, what do you actually expect from us? To watch the entirety of your match until we actually realize something you were talking about? We can't possibly do that. The amount of work needed, and actually it wouldn't be even efficient at all. We just can't do that, so help us help you. Provide details, and that's a win-win situation, because on our side, the faster we ban the toxic dudes, the better. The more we wait and the more games they're gonna play, so the more bad influence they're gonna have, which is why handling tickets ASAP is in our best interest. And finally, reshaping the divisions. The way ECL was built in the first place, you would encounter at worst one level higher than yours. It was great, but quickly showed weaknesses. The more you split the player base, the higher the queue times. But also, level 10 were quite unhappy with the current system. When you are level 10, you can still go up in ELO, just like global elites. So if you are global for a long time, you probably have a high ELO. But if you face a fresh global who just up ranked, there's going to be a big gap in the skill. This is why we've decided to rework the system this way. Like this, the players on the edge of up ranking or down ranking are allowed to play on the next or the previous division if they want to see how it's like. Did it work? Absolutely not at all. Because in reality, the players always chose the easy path and they kept playing in the lowest division possible. So once again, we have learned. So let's recap a little bit Season 1. The selling points were a better matchmaking system, no cheaters, friendly environment, and great teammates to play with. Was that a success? I would say for 85% yes. When I look at the feedback I'm getting or the Reddit thread about us, I think it's a success. People do agree it is better than matchmaking, ESEA or Face It Premium. One thing to keep in mind though is that as an admin, the only times you are going to hear from a player is when something goes wrong and he needs you. You will never have someone who reaches out to an admin just to say, hey, I'm having a great time and I love ECL, which is why I very often talk with people who play in ECL actively to stay in touch with the reality. We've got more people than expected, more matches than we thought, and most of the feedback is positive, which is great. So where did it fail? Because of the cash prize thing I have mentioned before, I think it took too long to spread the word, and since our reporting tool wasn't live for the better part of Season 1, it was very hard to keep track of incidents. In fact, it was done manually by admins entering names in the sheet. Not really efficient at all, and also time consuming. Now that we've got our tool, it's so much easier, and for real, the admin team is doing a sick job. We also failed to expand it more. As I knew the reporting tool wasn't live but was incoming, I did not want to push ECL more before it was live, because we wouldn't have what we need to handle a bigger player base. So between this and the bans, the player base went down by 40% after Season 1, and when I realized we had lost that many people, I first panicked, like I thought it would be the end of it and that's it, GG, but then I took a deeper look, sat down and tried to understand why and how comes. So let's begin by the bans. As of right now, we have assigned more than 2,000 bans. Not all of them are permanent, but when you ban a guy for an entire week, he most likely won't resub, it's almost like a permanent. Then you have the natural retention. Even with the best products, you will never have 100% retention, that just doesn't exist. And finally, the product itself. ECL doesn't appeal to everybody. Some only came here for the prizes and then realized that is not the focus, so they left ECL and went back to another Face It hub or where they were used to play. Once again, business-wise, it would be much better to tell you that everybody loves ECL because it's so great and you should join us, and never pinpoint the fails we've had. But that's not how I do things. ECL has been built by and for the community. The reason I spend this much time working on the day-to-day business of ECL is because I want to make sure it stays this way. And if you were skeptical about it and wanted to try, I would say that right now is the right time to try. We've got a great response time, reports I handle very quickly, and the player base is healthy for queue times unless you come late nights or early morning. Now I've got 3 objectives for the upcoming weeks. First one is to maintain the response time. As the user base grows, we will need more admins. It's very important because it is at the core of ECL. Without them, we can't filter the player base, thus ECL would be no better than any other matchmaking system. Number 2, increase the player base, but making sure that they know ECL isn't the random place where it's fine to insult your teammates. I want to reach out to the people who enjoy CS for what it is, a game. You can play with people and sometimes the game gets frustrating, yes, but lashing out on your teammates doesn't help anybody, not even yourself, and if you act like a dick, don't expect to be treated any differently. We've got many ban appeals of players who apologize for their behavior, saying that they had a bad day and let it out on their teammates. They apologize for that. But I've said that a couple times and we apply it to the day-to-day business. Whether you pay or not, if you are toxic, you're out. And number 3, improve our communication. As of right now, we don't have a feedback when you report someone, and I find it very satisfying when I do an Overwatch case that I get a message to say that the time I have put into that case was useful. That's also something I want to have for ECL, some kind of update status on your report system saying that this dude has been banned thanks to your report, thank you for your help. That kind of stuff is also something I want to have for ECL. As of right now, Season 2 began 2 weeks ago, the user base is healthy, and to improve the queue times, we have merged 5 divisions into 4. The most active division has up to 7, 8, 9 and even 10 sometimes matches at the same time, but the average queue time depends on the division you play in, because the least active one is the Division 2. And now a personal note, I am really trying my best to make ECL the best place for you to play CS. We've had some hiccups, and once again, I am not experienced in that field. All I do is I'm using feedback and common sense. friends. ECL has become such a big thing, I happen to spend most of my time on ECL, and fun fact, so is my girlfriend. We spend a lot of time working on ECL, talking about it, talking about a report, a user, or the staff, and as of right now, it really is at the center of our lives. And I get why some of you might think it's a sellout, as I have pushed aside almost everything for ECL. Some have told me that I was selling out. And that sucks to hear, really, because ECL is something I do myself, it's something I work for, that makes sense, that is relevant to the content I make, it's helpful for the community who follows me. I mean, it's not like I was putting pre-rolls about toothpaste or gambling, yeah? This is something I am doing myself, I am involved in, it is also community-based, and I feel so much more legit to promote it and to push it this much because of that. Like, the time I have invested into ECL for the last 8 months. Well, I could have spent it anywhere else. I could have focused on YouTube, growing more, making more views, more subs, more money, or whatever. But I've decided to take the risk and to push the idea of ECL further, where I could have just said fuck all and talk you into the brand new jackpot feature from brightsmilewhitetooth.com and make some easy money in the process. But I didn't do it because I believe in ECL, and seeing the feedback from the players, seeing the Reddit threads who talk about us, or even the guy I met at the Gamescom who talked me about ECL, well, that is great, and I really think we are onto something. But it really warms my heart to see that I'm not doing all of that for nothing, so thank you for your kind words. Spread the word about ECL to your friends, and in the meantime, I think that is it for this video. Thank you very much for watching it, because I know those aren't the funniest to watch, and to be honest with you, I was very surprised to see how well the first one was received. So that's all I had to say. Thank you again for watching that long video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.